Welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to make these beautiful bubble skirts. Just as you have seen in my screen today, how to make this beautiful bubble skirt. You'll be learning it in today's tutorial and how to get it done rightly, just as you see me putting it on and it stays. Alright, the first thing you have to do is to get your lining and your fabric. Maybe you can get 2.5 yards of your fabric depending on how you want it to fold, how you want the bubble to make effect. So for the lining, what you have to do is maybe just add 6 or 8 inches to the hip of your type. Either you have hip 40, you add extra 8 inch. Like this, the breadth of this particular lining is 25, which in double that is 50, and then the length is 18, which we are going to be making use of length 20. So in fold, we are going to get back that 18. All right, so for the particular fabric, what we have to do is to measure it and get it rightly. So for this particular fabric, which is what we are going to be using for these bubble skirts, the length of this fabric is 20. So in fold with that 18 would be 19 at the end of the day. If you turn it over, it will be 19. That is the length of which I want my skirts to be. And now I want to measure the breadth. It just depends on how you want it to bubble, how you want it to fall. So you can see in this particular one, I use the tape full times. I use it full once. You can see that the tape has finished at this particular time, just to measure it, to see the number of fabric I will be using for this tutorial. You can see me measuring again, just to see how many I can get for it. That means you can see it in fold. I have 2 60 lengths and then 2 half lengths. All right, so if this is done and we are good, so let's move over to our sewing machine. The first thing you have to do is to run a straight line all through from the width, all the breadth. Just run a straight line together. You see me running out that straight line. It should be loose at the least part of your sewing seam. It should be the loose part, because you are going to form out a gather pattern with it. You're going to form out a gather pattern with it, so make it loose. After running out that straight line, I will move over to running it the same thing at the down pattern of that fabric. You know, it's bubble, it has both the up part and the down part. So the both part is meant to form gathers. So I've done the upper part of it, so the down part of it, I will equally do the same straight lines. Remember, your stitch has to be loose. You know, if it's tight, you can't form out that gathers together. As soon as I'm done, what I have to do is to pick one of the thread and begin to draw it together, just like how you do your gathers. Draw it together to get the beautiful effect you want it to be. See me drawing it out here. Just keep drawing it together. Keep drawing it together. Keep drawing it together, just to get it right and get it done. You should keep getting effects. See me keep drawing it. Just keep doing it like that till the fabric is finished. That means till you are done drawing it together and you've gotten to the last part of it. See, after doing that, I have to come over to the table just to show you how it has formed out rightly. Just getting this done. You know, you have to take patience. You know, the thing is long. So for you to get that bubble step, you have to get it done. You can see, wow, this is so beautiful. It has come out looking beautiful. You can see our gathers is given. So the next thing you have to do is to get that particular lining and place it under the part. So the first thing we have to do is to place this under it, and then when I place this, I discover that it's shorter than the lining. So what I have to do is to remove out the bubble, remove out all the parts which I have done the gathers together. Just remove it out a little so that the lining can go all around. I believe you understand what I'm saying. So when you move it out and then you size it again with the lining to see that yes, it's correct, or yes, you've gotten that effect which you want. The lining and the fabric together right now is the same, then you are good to go. Let's see it and it's called, oh wow. You can see they are the same now. It is on the same frequency. They are both the same. So the next thing we have to do is to go back to the sewing machine again and run a straight line on it like so. See me running out the straight line on it. You have this time around your stitch have to be tight. Don't make it loose because you are not doing any, you don't want it to loosen off. So just make it tight, the normal stitch where you sew it, and then you run the straight line all the way down. This straight line you are running out, the main essence of running this straight line is to turn it, to give it the turnover. And the essence of this turnover is to get that bubble out, is to get it done, is to get it beautiful. Because when you leave it out like that, you will not get that form you are seeing. So when we are done, we have to see that, wow, this is so, so beautiful. You can see, wow, we are done making out the straight line on it. So we have to turn it over just to see it rightly. Turning it over to get it done. You can see me? Turning it over. Before turning it over, what you have to do is to draw out this particular space at the sideways part of it and sew, just run a straight line on your sewing machine. So that is at the edge of the two parts. You know you have the two parts. Do the same at the other part as well. Run a straight line on it. Make sure you leave that strand of that rope there so you can be able to get the gather tool at the upper part as well. So when you are done with that, you can just quickly turn it over. Turn it over. Let's turn it over to see the effects which we have gotten out from it, to be sure that everything is correct. Wow, you can see the bubble is getting shape already. It's forming already. Wow, this is so lovely. You just keep turning it over and then you will discover that that 1 inch, which is 18 inch for our lining and then 20 inch for the main fabric, you can see the effect it has given to it at the beneath part. So what we have to do is, for the upper part of it, do the same gathers, draw it again, because you know the waist is small now. The waist is small, so it doesn't have to be that big. So you draw it to your desired waist. If your waist is 20, if your waist is 26, if you're using a waist of 30, using a waist of 35, just draw it. You can see me, I've drawn mine to the desired waist measurement. The waist measurement I'm using for this particular bubble skirt is 35. So I'll draw it to that 35, and then for the lining I will run a straight line and draw the gather together. I'll draw it together just as you will see it on the sewing machine now. You will see that the gather part of it and the lining part of it will be together. See the lining part of it, I've drawn it together so that I will get the same effect. 35, 35, 35 for the lining, 35 for the main fabric. So what I have to do was just to put 1 inch allowance at the end of it, so that that inch allowance will just be for the zipper. You don't have to put too many allowance. It's a bubble skirt, it will be so beautiful, and that way it's fine. You can see 35, and then we have that as our allowance. So let's move over to putting in our band for this beautiful bubble skirt. So what we have to do, our band is 2 inch. So our band is 4 inch. So 2 inch will be in fold. So that is how it's going to be. So making out the full length of the skirt 20 as usual. So you can see the band here. I've sewn out the other part, the 2 edges of it. You can see the band, 4 inch, exactly what I'm saying, and then in fold will be 2 inch exactly. So we have to sew the edges together. So before sewing the edges together, you have to measure to be sure that it is exactly what you have in the fabric of the bubble skirt. So when I measure, I discover that yes, I have to trim out some parts little bit so that I can get my exactly 36 inches, which will be for the waist part. Right and appropriate calculation have to be done whenever you are getting anything or any sewing measurements done, so that you won't have anyone missing out. One will not be longer than the other, or one will be looking out separately on its own. The right measurements give you the right answer. You see, we have to turn it out together. After turning it out, I will place it on the fabric, on the bubble skirt, which we are getting done already. I'll get it out on the bubble skirt, and then I will run out a straight line on it. You see me doing it right away. Exactly on the edge of the skirt. I'll put it exactly on it there, and then size it up together then while I run my straight line. It is good to note that there are different patterns of putting out your band in your skirt. While for this particular tutorial, this is the pattern I'll be using. Use the two of them together and then snatch it. At the end of the day, those other parts at the back of it, you just take it to the weaving machine and you weave it all through. This particular part of it is not fast forward because I want you to see how it looks like and how everything goes step by step. You don't have to rush this particular part. You put your sewing, the measurement on it, the last part of it, just like how you are doing your gathers. You don't have to make it too tight so that your needles will not be affected or smashed along the line. You just put it there. Since it's gathers already, it can have a good seam together. You can see how beautiful this is. If it's like this, that means you are good to go. You continue sewing it down, and when you are done, you just calculate it together and be sure that it is the right part. Wow, look at it, looking so neat and beautiful. Cut out all the threads on it to make it neat. Wow, you can see at the end of the day we have 36 at the end of the day, which 35 is the waist allowance, the waist measurement, and 1 inch allowance. Just to show you that our skirt has formed beautiful, I have to just size it on my waist, though it's not for me, but you can see that, wow, this is so beautiful, looking fine. Oh, that shows that we did it rightly. You can see how it is. So after this place, what we have to do next is to fix our zip. So that particular 1 inch will be for our zipper allowance. So what we have to do is to measure 10 inch down where the zip can stay, and then you join the rest parts together. You can measure whatever you wish. Some can measure 9, some can measure 11, but we are making use of 10. And I measure it down and I complete the sewing of the down part as well. Stitch it rightly so it won't lose. Alright, when this particular process is done, you have to fix in your zip for that particular 1 inch allowance. You fix in your zip. So when you fix in your zip, you just put it at the edge. That is from the beginning. You put it at the edge and run in your distance all around and run it on a straight line, just as you can see it, me doing it here. Your normal way of putting your zip, you just put it there and then sew it together. Make sure it's neat, make sure your zip is not tempered with, and make sure the needle is not sewing on top of where your zipper is meant to open also. After doing that part, I move over to the next part and do the same thing for the next part. Yeah, just to do the same thing for the next part, so make everything equal. And when we are done, this is how it looks like, looking out beautiful and so lovely. I love this. Bubble skirts can be worn by anybody, for girls, and you can see, wow, girls, ladies, to take to any occasion. I'm sure you learned something today. See you guys in our next video. Bye bye. Click on the button below and subscribe to our channel. Like, love, and share. Bye guys.